Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be talking about Roa, the last mythic item which was added in the preseason. So there are going to be a few champions which are missing the top lane. It's definitely more of a mid lane item and it's already been buffed, so we'll have to see how it shapes up compared to the rest of the items added in the preseason. Roa, to begin with, was definitely bad. It was way too expensive for how long you needed to ramp up. In my opinion, the item would be a lot better if it was a legendary. I think it being a mythic hurts it a lot because a lot of the users of it want to go Liandry's, your Swains, your Anivias, stuff like this. I'm pretty sure Anivia definitely works better with Roa than someone like Swain, and Swain has Jackshaw as an option as well. So it pushes Roa even further to the side when Liandry's is as good as it is at the moment. But that should change. I'm going to presume they will nerf it. So we'll cut out a lot of champs here because a lot of these champs won't run it whatsoever. They don't have the AP ratios or the mana they need to for it to be a viable item. So Clade, Aatrox, Gangplank, Jax, Wukong, Shen, Camille, Maud. I'm just going to go through all of these. There are so many here which just won't even consider it. We'll leave Lilia. I'm pretty sure Lilia won't build this item, but there is a chance. We can cut out so many champions this way. Oh, Swain, I'll leave. Pretty sure Kayle won't build this. It doesn't really synergize with her. And it doesn't help with her early game, which is her weakest point. It's good on Karma, definitely. We'll have to figure out where she should go. So we've already cut out a lot of champions here, which definitely won't build this item. Go to Volibear, go to Sion, go to Sejuani, go to Mundo, go to Yode. So instantly you can see there are very few champions. Even something like Cannon will probably be like an E tier. Just looking through here, is there any others? So these are all your AP or magic or mana champions which can probably build it. I don't think Udo would build this either. It's definitely not going to happen. Just quickly have a look. Udo tops very isn't played anywhere near as much as it used to. Yeah, it's definitely not going to be built on Udo. So Rise, probably the first champion I think of when it comes to Roa, because it was his one of his premier items back in the day, but it looks worse than Everfrost by a significant amount. I'm pretty sure Rise right now is better with Crown and Ludens. Yeah, Ludens isn't incredible as an item in the current meta, with a lot of magic resist options and a lot of health items, but it's still a really good item and definitely not one to be overlooked. It falls compared to the rest of his mythics, so it's probably like a B tier. It can work, but better options. There is a chance Roa needs to get buffed again. It's still doing pretty badly on a lot of champions, which should consider it as their best mythic. But a lot of the problems Roa has comes from it being a mythic. It shouldn't be a mythic, and I think an item like Roa would have been healthier definitely as a legendary. Cho'Gath is a champion which could also run it. I'm pretty sure when you used your AP Cho'Gath, it was always an option. Cho'Gath himself isn't doing great at the moment. He falls flat in the current meta. Doesn't look great on him. Cho'Gath mid is probably where you should play him. But yeah, it can work. It's kind of bait actually. Struggles at the moment. Maokai, once again, another champion which is kind of fallen out of favour in the top lane. Definitely got pushed out when he got nerfed a decent amount because of pro play. Yeah, it's not really even an option here. It's just kind of bad. Akali won't run this item. Health is not bad on Akali, and she's definitely AP heavy, but without mana, there's a dead stun amongst it. So yeah, it's very bad. It's more of an option than the others, but still pretty bad. Kennen won't build this item either. He wants Pen and he wants high amounts of damage. He's more early game skewed and team fight skewed. Vladimir doesn't have mana, so it's not gonna. He's already lost a start on the item. It's a scaling item, and Vladimir already scales a lot within his kit. Night Harvester into Rabadon's being the key start there. Does it compare to Night Harvester? Not even slightly, so definitely not great. Silas, probably won't build this item either. It would be the first one here where I'm like, maybe as an alternative. But things like Luden's, I like Luden's Silas. I think it's very good and underrated definitely at the moment. Q Max First Strike Silas, it's definitely good. Leandri's is also an option. Night House hasn't got a lot of games, but maybe an option. Crown is better than Roa, so is Everfrost. But yeah, Luden's Silas is probably the way to play him at the moment. Very, very good. Malphite won't build this. I think Malphite is also someone who likes Night Harvester if you're going AP. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Night Harvester Malphites recently. Can do a lot of damage, so it's definitely something to be afraid of. But Malphite's kind of only viable mythics are Iceborne and Jackshow, and I guess Radiant Virtue if you want to get more supportive. Yeah, AP is most likely Night Harvester, but I think AP Malphite is still probably weaker than Tank Malphite, so it's also pretty bad on him. Gragas is someone I could see running it, definitely. Gragas as an AP champ is kind of fallen out of favour, though. It's still probably his best build because tank items are struggling at the moment for him. Things like Everfrost and Night Harvester are significantly better. He can go Leandri's if you're going a CDR spam build as well. Luden's for more damage. Doesn't look like Roa is much of an option here either. Cassiopeia is someone who I presumed would massively spike up when this item got buffed. Didn't actually appear that way. It's still significantly worse than Leandri's. Yeah, Leandri's and Everfrost still better. Crown is even an option there as well. It can work, but the item's weak, so probably will get buffed next patch. Zag doesn't have mana, plus his AP ratios benefit from the health, which you get from demonics as well. So more health, AP orientated build is usually his best. Something like a Night Harvester into a demonics. If you're going AP Zag, which I would kind of disagree with when tank is so strong. Roa's not built on him, so it's probably down here. Tahm Kench. I heard someone talking about Tahm Kench with Roa. It's pretty awful, so I'm also going to put it down here. Roa is probably not great on tanks. Karma is probably her best mythic in the top lane. Yeah, Roa looks good on Karma. I can see why though. Mana is really nice on Karma. A lot of spell spamming, damage taken, converts into more W healing as well. There's a lot of benefits to Roa on Karma, so it's probably S on Karma. Definitely an option there. Gwen doesn't really need mana, plus she's also kind of Riftmaker bound. Jackshow is also an option possibly, but yeah, Riftmaker Gwen definitely over Roa. It's around here. It's probably a high C, but yeah, Riftmaker almost all the way. Yeah, I'll put it here. Maybe when it gets buffed, we'll see Gwen rise up with the item. Definitely not a KL item. I'll put it in bait. It's not as bad as these ones, but it's definitely not any higher. Teemo probably as well won't build this item. Definitely Leandri's or Riftmaker. Riftmaker seems to be his best by miles, but it's got win rate. It's got data biases because it's the second item usually. Even then, Leandri's second is still performing worse. So Nash's Riftmaker probably Teemo's best build by far. Fleet and PTA doing pretty well. Fleet seems to do better, but it's kind of battle PTA. It's around here. Also not a great item. Heimerdinger, not really played top lane anymore. Could be an option. Luden's, Leandri's definitely outperform it by a mile. So yeah, it's around here. Swain is someone else who that came to mind when I thought about Roa. It's not as good as Leandri's, not even slightly as well. I think Jackshow definitely has potential on Swain as an item as well. Like a Riot Demonic Jackshow combo. The win rate's low at the moment, like very low, so maybe not. I just think because we're in such a Leandri's favoured meta. Yeah, it's definitely Leandri's all the way. I think it's probably bait. It's just not great. Lydia, Also, Leandri's runner won't look towards this item because Leandri's is just so much stronger than it at the moment. Yeah, Leandri's, Riftmaker, Jack Show, even Heartsteel do kind of better than it. I think it can work. Definitely has better options though. And Singed. Another champion who could possibly do quite well with this mythic, but it's also very, very good with Riftmaker and Jack Show at the moment. Plus he can go Radiant Virtue if he's wants to go more supportive. Yeah, it doesn't look like Ro is much of an option here. It's got around the same win rate as Rylai's with a third of the games, but Demonic Singed first looks really good. Definitely because of all the health stackers as well. I think it can work. But yeah, that's it. There's not a lot to it at the moment. We'll have to see if this item gets buffed. I'm gonna presume it will do, as well as like nerfs to the high-end champions, Fiora, Camille, maybe Darius, Shen get nerfed as well. And then maybe this item finds its place in the top lane. But for now, definitely mid lane favored. Even mid lane, I think Leandri's and Ludens will probably still outshine it. But hopefully it gets buffed. And then maybe next season it will become a legendary. It feels bad being a mythic. But before I end the video, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been watching recently. It's very good to see support. I'm thankful for it. And as this is the last mythic, I'm going to ask you guys, the audience, what would you like to see next? Because I could do legendaries, I could do other mythics, I could do OP build videos, although I don't really know any at the moment, so we'd have to see how that one goes. I'd have to do a lot more research into the data for that. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. It helps the YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.